Have you ever felt the sting of rejection from the very people who should have had your back, your family? What if I told you that the people meant to love you the most can sometimes hurt you the deepest? That the pain of being cast aside by your blood might be more powerful than you ever imagined? In this video, we're diving deep into a truth that many fear to face but need to understand. Family can sometimes be the source of our greatest emotional suffering. If you've ever questioned your worth because of someone else's rejection, or wondered why those you've loved and trusted have distanced themselves, you're not alone. This video is for anyone who has ever felt misunderstood, cast aside, or unsupported by those closest to them. By watching until the end, you'll gain powerful insights on how to stop seeking approval from others and finally embrace your truth. In this video, we'll explore why the rejection you've experienced wasn't about you, but about others' inability to accept your growth. You'll learn how to stop internalizing their coldness and start recognizing your worth, independent of anyone's approval. I'll show you how to build a life that is not defined by family expectations, but by your own choices, your values, and your strength. Stay with me as we unpack the painful yet empowering process of stepping into your power, breaking free from the chains of emotional control, and building the life you deserve. This is more than just a video. It's a roadmap to healing and self-discovery. You won't want to miss the steps to reclaiming your life and your peace. So, if you're ready to stop seeking love in places where it was never meant to be found and embrace your truth, keep watching. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a deep, heart-wrenching pain in this world that remains hidden in the shadows, a pain so intense that most dare not speak of it. It lingers quietly, in the silence of unanswered calls, in the emptiness that fills your home when invitations no longer come, in the cold distance that separates you from those who once held the very core of your heart. This is the unbearable ache of being abandoned by those who should have been your fiercest protectors, your unwavering support, your haven. These are the people who were supposed to stand by you, no matter the storm, yet somehow they turn their backs and walk away. It is a pain that is not just physical but emotional, profoundly so, because it shatters something deeper inside of you. Some wounds fade with time, scars that soften as the years pass, but then some wounds leave invisible scars. These scars are not seen by the world, but they gnaw at your soul. They hurt in those quiet, lonely moments when your thoughts drift, and you find yourself questioning, what went wrong? Why did they abandon me? What did I do to deserve this? You search your memory, replaying every moment, every word, every gesture, hoping to stumble upon the exact instant when everything shifted, when the love you so desperately craved began to slip away. But let's speak the painful truth. This rejection, this abandonment, didn't begin with you. No, it began in the spaces where expectations and realities collided, where love was never truly unconditional. From the very beginning of life, there is a naive belief that family, those who share your blood, will always be there for you. We are taught that the love of a family is a steadfast, unshakable force, one that will never falter. But the bitter reality many of you have faced is that, for some, love is not a constant. It is transactional. It is something to be earned, not freely given. Love is extended only when it serves a purpose, when it aligns with a vision, often a narrow, suffocating vision that others have created for you. And the moment you dare to step outside of that box, to rise and embrace your true self, you suddenly become a stranger in your own home, a ghost wandering among those who no longer recognize you. This betrayal is not just about disagreements or the trivial squabbles that come with any relationship. No, this betrayal runs much deeper. It is the crushing realization that, for as long as you played the part they assigned to you, you were loved, because you were useful, you were predictable, you were comfortable. But the moment you chose to break free, The moment you embraced the truth of who you are, they didn't know what to do with you. They couldn't handle the version of you that no longer fit into their carefully constructed image. Perhaps they withdrew slowly, their presence becoming like a fading echo, their voices growing quieter and quieter until they were mere whispers in your life. Or perhaps they did the unimaginable. They shut you out completely, their words like daggers, final and cutting. And there you were, standing alone, your heart heavy with confusion, your mind tormented by the question, what did I do wrong? But let me make this clear, this rejection was never about you. This was never about your worth, your value, or your ability to love. No. This was about their inability to accept what they couldn't control. The painful truth is that not everyone who shares your blood is destined to walk with you. Some people will choose to walk away not because you failed them, but because you've outgrown the little box they tried to shove you into. They will call it rebellion, selfishness, defiance. But the truth is that what they fear is not your actions, but your freedom. They fear that you are no longer bound by their expectations, their limitations. From the moment we take our first breath, we are shaped by those around us, by the hands that raise us, by the voices that speak into our lives. We are molded into someone else's vision of who we should be, of what we should value, of how we should live. And for a time, we follow. We don't know any better. We trust that those who love us know best. But then something shifts. We begin to see the world differently. Our eyes are open to new possibilities, new horizons. A fire stirs within us, a quiet, burning desire to be more, to do more, to live a life that is ours and ours alone. And when that fire begins to burn brightly, when we step into our truth, some will celebrate. They will cheer us on, proud of the person we've become. But others, the ones who have always held the reins, will recoil in fear. They will see our growth as a threat, as something that challenges their own need for control. They will long for the version of us that was easier to understand, the one they could manage, the one they could mold. And so, we are left standing at a crossroads. We must decide, do we shrink back into the mold they have cast for us, burying our true selves to keep them comfortable? Do we live a life that pleases them, that secures their approval, even at the cost of our happiness and authenticity? Or do we walk forward, knowing that in choosing ourselves, we may lose them? And this, my friends, is where the pain lies. For walking away doesn't mean we stopped loving them. It doesn't mean we don't wish things could be different, that we don't long for the connection we once had. But it means that we refuse to betray ourselves for the sake of their approval. We choose our truth over their comfort. And that, in the end, is the most painful yet liberating decision we can ever make. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. There will undoubtedly be moments of intense doubt, those quiet, haunting times when the absence of certain people in your life feels like a weight too heavy to carry. In those moments, the voices from the past may creep into your mind like whispers in the dark, echoing thoughts you thought you'd silenced long ago. They may say things like, perhaps they were right after all, or maybe you should have stayed, or maybe the price of being true to yourself was just too high to bear. It will feel like an emotional storm, tearing at the very fabric of your soul, pulling you back into a place of self-doubt and fear. But my dear, I ask you this. What is the true cost of living a life that is not your own? What is the price of abandoning your truest self for the comfort of others' expectations? So many people, far too many, spend their precious years imprisoned by the relentless need for approval, constantly seeking validation from others, often from those who have already decided long ago that they would never give it. They mold themselves into someone they think others will love, bending and contorting into versions that only exist to please, never realizing that love given under such conditions is not love at all. It is a lie. It is control disguised as affection, a cruel and twisted deception that entraps you in a cycle of self-sacrifice and unmet needs. To be controlled in the name of love is to lose your essence, to be suffocated by expectations that were never yours to bear. To those of you who have felt this searing pain, to those who have walked the difficult path of standing up for your own heart and soul, know this: you are not alone. You are not wrong for choosing yourself. It may feel like a lonely road, like a journey that only you can walk, but that is because growth is often solitary. Not everyone is meant to travel with you on this path. Some people will remain behind, clinging to the comfort of what was, unable to move forward and embrace the beautiful unknown future that lies just beyond the horizon. And that is okay. Let them stay where they are, holding on to their version of you if that is what they need. But you must let go. Let go of the person they want you to be, and step into the person you are meant to be. Do not allow their attachment to the past to keep you from stepping into your future, your true, authentic self. Their love, or the lack of it, does not define your worth. Their rejection does not diminish you in any way. Their inability to accept you for who you are is a reflection of their limitations, not your failures. The only approval you truly need is your own. The only acceptance that matters is the one you give yourself. And when you finally come to this realization, when you let go of the heavy burden of their expectations and stop searching for love in places it was never meant to be found, something incredible happens. You will uncover something extraordinary, something beautiful, something deeply freeing. You will find your people. You will find the ones who love you not for who they want you to be, but for exactly who you are. These are the ones who will stand by you, not because you fit their mold, but because they see you and cherish you as your truest self. You will create a new family, one not bound by blood, but by choice, by mutual respect, by a kind of love that asks nothing of you but for you to simply be. So, if you are standing at the crossroads of your life, torn between the pull of the past and the promise of the future, ask yourself this: what if the love you are seeking is not behind you, but ahead? What if everything you've ever dreamed of is waiting for you just beyond the fear of letting go? What if the life you've always wanted is waiting for you to step forward into it, free from the chains of old expectations? Take that step. Do not look back. There is nothing for you in the past. There comes a moment in every life, a deeply profound moment, when you are forced to confront a truth so powerful, so unsettling, that it shakes you to your core. It's the moment when you realize, for the first time, that the way people treat you has nothing to do with your worth or value as a human being. It has everything to do with who they are, with their limitations and their inability to accept you as you are. Their rejection, their coldness, their silence. It is not a reflection of your failures or your inadequacies. It is simply a reflection of them, their narrow vision, their inability to see you for the extraordinary person you are. Accepting this truth is not easy. It feels like a betrayal, as if you've been carrying the weight of their judgments and expectations for so long that it has become a part of your identity. You question yourself, wondering if you were too much or not enough. If you had only been quieter, more obedient, more like them, would they have loved you then? Would they have stayed? Would they have seen you for the beautiful, complex person you are, instead of trying to mold you into a version of themselves that could never be you? But let me ask you this: what kind of love is built on conditions? What kind of acceptance is earned by shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's world? True love does not ask you to diminish yourself, to shrink, or to hide your brilliance. True love does not punish you for growing, for evolving, for becoming more than you were yesterday. True love celebrates the journey of becoming, embraces the change, and stands beside you, no matter where that growth takes you. True love does not ask you to be anyone else but yourself. So many people have confused control with love, creating a tangled mess where love is equated with manipulation, and care is mistaken for possession. They try to wrap their discomfort around you and present it as if you are the cause of it, as though your mere existence is a threat to their peace. But there's something so incredibly powerful, almost liberating, when you finally understand the truth of it. When you no longer internalize their rejection as a reflection of your worth. When you stop believing that their coldness, their indifference, their withdrawal, is something you must repay with endless self-sacrifice and desperation for approval. And most importantly, when you truly realize, that their inability to accept you has absolutely nothing to do with who you are or what you've done. People view the world through the lens of their pain, their history, their wounds. They bring their fears, insecurities, and unresolved issues into every relationship, every interaction. Sometimes, people will reject you, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your existence forces them to face aspects of themselves that they are simply not ready to confront. Your strength, your independence, your freedom to be yourself. Those things may trigger them, not because they're bad people, but because your very presence holds up a mirror to their limitations. Your ability to stand tall may highlight their fears, their cowardice. Your will to break free from the chains that once bound you might show them the ones they still refuse to untangle for themselves. And so they push you away, not because you are unworthy of love, but because they don't have the strength to love you for who you truly are. It's not about your unlovability, but about their inability to see beyond their fears and insecurities. They cannot love someone who shines too brightly, whose presence challenges their comfort zone. But guess what? That is not your burden to carry. You do not need to carry the weight of their limitations or lack of vision. You are not their therapist, their fixer, their savior. You are you, and that should be more than enough. For far too long, you've made excuses for them. You've told yourself that maybe if you just tried a little harder, if you just gave a little more, if you just waited a little longer, they would come around and see your worth. But listen closely. There is nothing noble about begging for love, nothing honorable about proving your worth to someone who refuses to see it. You don't need to bend over backward to earn the basic acknowledgement of someone who refuses to honor you. You have already proven your value by simply existing, by being yourself, by showing up in the world as the person you are. There is no glory in being invisible for the sake of others' comfort. The moment you realize that you do not need anyone's approval, you become untouchable. The moment you stop seeking validation from those who withhold it, you reclaim the power you never should have given away. That power, it's always been yours. You were never meant to live your life on your knees, begging for scraps of love that were never freely given. You were meant to stand tall, to walk with your head held high, to bask in the glory of your existence. Take a moment. Look in the mirror, really look at yourself, and see yourself for who you truly are. Whole, complete, enough. You are not broken. You do not need to be more than what you are to fit into someone else's narrow definition of good enough. You do not need to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You do not need to dim your light just to ease their discomfort. You do not need to apologize for existing in your full power. The world does not get to make you feel small for being unapologetically you. There is immense freedom in letting go. Freedom in understanding that you do not have to hold on to people who refuse to hold on to you. Love should never be a game of endurance, a constant struggle to prove that you deserve a place in their hearts. Real love doesn't require you to fight for a seat at the table, always wondering if you'll be rejected if you say the wrong thing, make the wrong move, or become someone they no longer recognize. Real love is unconditional. It builds a new table, one where you are welcomed with open arms, without hesitation, without fear. A place where you can be your full, authentic self, without the weight of pretending or shrinking. And this, my dear, is where true redemption lies, not in their acceptance, but in your own. Not in their recognition, but in the way you learn to see yourself. When the noise of the world fades away, when you're alone with your thoughts and no longer feel the pressure to prove yourself to anyone, that's when you will realize the beautiful, powerful truth. You were never the problem. It was never about you. It was always about their inability to see your light. Some will call this selfishness. They'll say you've become cold, distant, hardened. They'll try to guilt you back into submission by reminding you of the past, the things they did for you, the sacrifices they made. But you need to remember, love is not a debt to be repaid. Love is a gift, freely given, without expectation, without tallying who owes what to whom. If love was given to you with strings attached, It was never love in the first place. It was a transaction, a deal. But real love, pure, unconditional love, has no price, no conditions, no calculations. It simply is. And you deserve nothing less. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. This is where your true power lies, in the absolute and unshakable understanding that you owe no one an explanation for the space you occupy in this world. You do not need to shrink yourself, to make yourself smaller, so that others can feel bigger or more comfortable in their skin. You do not need to apologize for existing as you are. The only person whose approval you truly need in this life is your own. And so, with that realization, you rise. You stand tall, not burdened by bitterness or regret, but instead with clarity. You move forward, not fueled by anger, but by the profound understanding of your worth, the knowledge that you are enough, exactly as you are. There will be people in your life who simply will never be able to love you for who you truly are. And that, my dear, is their loss, not yours. There will be those who will never accept your truth, your light, and the essence of who you are. And though it stings, it will never change the fact that your truth is sacred, and it is not for them to decide. You were never meant to fit into the narrow, suffocating box that others built for you. No, you were meant to break free from it, to soar above their limited expectations, and step boldly into the fullness of your being. You were made to live without hesitation, without apology, and without waiting for someone else to permit you to be exactly who you are meant to be. And when you finally come to that profound realization, when you finally stop chasing after what should have been freely given, you will discover something truly extraordinary. You were never truly seeking their love or validation. No, you were seeking your own. And the moment you give it to yourself, truly give it to yourself, you will understand that you were never truly alone. The peace and acceptance you sought outside yourself were always waiting for you within. There comes a pivotal moment in life when you must ask yourself a question that will alter the entire course of your existence. It is deceptively simple, yet so profound, that most people spend their entire lives running from it. Whose approval am I living for? For so long, you have shaped yourself according to the expectations of others. You tailored your words, your actions, your very being, to fit the mold they handed to you. You played the role, followed the rules, did everything you were told was necessary to earn the love, acceptance, and belonging you longed for. You believed with all your heart that if you just tried hard enough, if you just did everything right, then and only then would you finally be seen. Finally be enough. But here is the painful truth. There is a cruel irony in seeking approval from those who have already decided, long before you even began, that they will not give it to you. No matter how much of yourself you sacrifice, no matter how much of your spirit you dim, no matter how much you bend or break to fit their idea of who you should be, it will never be enough. You could spend a lifetime erasing pieces of yourself, losing parts of your soul, only to realize that the goalposts will always move. It's not your effort that's lacking, it's their inability to accept you, just as you are. And so, you must choose. Not a choice between them and you, but between illusion and truth. The illusion is this, that one more apology, one more sacrifice, one more compromise will finally be the key to unlocking their approval. The truth, however, is far more liberating. The truth is that their approval was never yours to earn in the first place. It was always conditional, always fragile, always given with one hand, only to be snatched away with the other. It was never meant for you. And so, you stop. You stop chasing. You stop waiting. You stop bending yourself into something small, something less, just to fit into a space that was never meant to hold you. You realize that your worth is not defined by being chosen, by being approved of. Your worth exists outside of someone else's recognition of it. You were never meant to be easy for others to tolerate, to fit their comfort zone. You were not created to be agreeable or simply enough. You were meant to be whole, to be untamed, unapologetically yourself, no matter how it might make others uncomfortable. This journey, this path of self-acceptance and radical self-love, is not an easy one. There will be moments of loneliness, of doubt, and of aching for a love that you always thought you needed from someone else, but it was never given freely. There will be moments of questioning whether you'll ever find a sense of belonging. But let me tell you this, there is something so extraordinary waiting for you on the other side of that pain. Something so precious and freeing. It is the kind of freedom that comes when you understand that you owe no one your silence, your obedience, or your suffering. The kind of freedom that comes when you stop begging for a place at a table that was never set for you, and instead, you begin to build your own. You start to create the life you were always meant to live. You begin to finally live for you. And when you finally take that courageous step forward, you will uncover something profoundly beautiful. Something you may not have realized was waiting for you all along. You will encounter people who never ask you to shrink or tone down your brilliance, who do not flinch at the power you possess, who will not use love as a weapon to manipulate or control. These are the people who will look at you, not for what you can offer them or how perfectly you fit into their world, but for the magnificent, authentic being that you are deep within. They will see you for your soul, your heart, your essence, the parts of you that truly matter. And it will be a love that is unconditional, pure, and untarnished by expectations. Because, you see, family is not just defined by the blood running through your veins. No, family is found in the people who stay when the world outside seems to turn its back. It is in the ones who choose you not out of obligation but out of a deep, unwavering desire to be with you, to love you for exactly who you are. They are the ones who hold space for your growth, celebrating it instead of resenting it. They do not ask you to shrink to make them feel bigger or more important. Family is built on acceptance, understanding, and unconditional support, and these are the connections that matter the most. It is a painful truth, a realization that cuts deep, but it is worth embracing. Some of the most profound and life-changing relationships you will ever have will not come from those who share your last name. Instead, they will be born from the ones who can truly see your heart, your soul, your essence, and love you, not for what you have or can give, but for everything you are and everything you will become. These connections will nourish your spirit and offer you the kind of love that feels like home, a place of comfort, safety, and belonging. But here's where the pain meets power. You must be willing to let go. Let go of the people who cannot love you without conditions. Release the ones who see your existence as an inconvenience, who have no room in their hearts to accept you for who you truly are. You must walk away from the futile battle of trying to earn love from those who are incapable of giving it freely. And this is not a release that is filled with bitterness or anger, but one that is imbued with quiet, serene understanding. You are worthy of more than scraps of affection. You are worthy of a love that is freely offered, a love that sees you fully and cherishes you as you are. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. You do not need to prove your worth to anyone, not to the people who refuse to see the depth of your heart, nor to those who demand that you fit into their narrow definitions of who you should be. You are not meant to carry the weight of their expectations, nor are you destined to live your life in chains, constantly asking for permission to be yourself. You were never meant to dim your light for the comfort of others. You were born to shine unapologetically and to live fully in the glory of your authentic self. So, you take a step forward into the vast unknown, into the life that you were always meant to have. You leave behind the exhaustion of seeking approval, the heartbreak of being misunderstood, and the pain of trying to belong where your spirit was never meant to rest. You let go of the yearning to fit into places and relationships that were never designed for you. And in that space, in the uncertainty, something extraordinary begins to unfold. You start to build, not just any life, but a life based on love, trust, and respect. You build a family, not of blood but of choice. You surround yourself with people who celebrate your strength, who do not fear your power, and who will never ask you to be anything other than who you truly are. You craft a life where you are free to be yourself, where you are loved for all the beautiful and imperfect parts of you. This life is built on mutual respect, not obligation, and it is defined by connections that do not demand a sacrifice of your very self. And as time passes, something incredible happens. You look back and realize that the love you were desperately searching for was never behind you. It wasn't hiding in the past, waiting for you to prove yourself worthy of it. It was always ahead of you, patiently waiting for you to stop looking in places where it was never meant to be found. It was waiting for you to stop justifying your existence, to stop proving that you were worthy of love and acceptance. It was waiting for you to realize that love, real, unconditional love, is never something you have to beg for. You rise, not because they finally accepted you, not because they saw your worth, but because you saw it for yourself. You rise, not as someone seeking approval, but as someone who understands that true love is never earned through desperation or sacrifice. You rise, not with bitterness in your heart, but with peace, knowing that those who could not love you as you are were never meant to be part of your journey. You let them go with grace, and in doing so, you make room for the incredible, fulfilling life that awaits you. You do not belong to the past or their expectations. You belong to yourself, to your path, to the future that is waiting for you beyond the need for validation. And when you embrace that truth, when you accept that you are worthy of love and belonging just as you are, you will finally realize something profound. You were never lost, never broken. You were always whole. You were always enough. And now, you are free. As we come to the end of this video, I hope you found a deep sense of reflection and inspiration. Today, we've explored some powerful truths about love, self-worth, and the strength it takes to create your path in life, unshackled by others' expectations and filled with the freedom to live authentically. So, what have you learned from this journey? What is the one lesson that resonates with you the most and that you are committed to bringing into your life? I'd love to hear from you. Please take a moment to comment below and share that one thing you're going to put into practice starting today. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with someone who might benefit from it, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Your support means the world to us, and we're here to help you on your journey of self-growth. Thank you for watching, and remember, you are already enough.